Hi, I'm Martina Morano. This is Within Reason, and I'm talking to progressive candidate Jon Lancelot. So, John, can you please, first of all, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please tell us what you're running for and why you decided to run?
Well, I'm running for New Jersey governor, to be the New Jersey governor 2017 this year as a progressive independent candidate. And the reason I'm doing this as a progressive, but also as an independent, because I believe that my policy views are advanced. I've spoken to a lot of people across the state. Doesn't matter whether they're conservative, progressive, independent, free thinking, that we actually want to make this world better. We actually want to discuss ideas that will better our country. But for New Jersey, we're mainly concerned about, the people in New Jersey who are sick and tired of the corruption, sick and tired of being told the same things in a different way by both parties. And we're really facing a time in our history where people, normal everyday people, have to step up and get involved in local politics, state politics, and get better members of Congress that will vote in favor of the people instead of favor of special interests. So we just want to create a new conversation. We want to bring people together, and the reason I'm doing it because after last year's disaster of an election, I want to use my knowledge in politics and technology to bring forward a new agenda.
That sounds like all great reasons. The one thing, though, that I did notice when I was looking into it a little bit is that I noticed that like 19 people are considering running. Is that an accurate number?
There's a lot of people in the race for governor. It's very fascinating to see people from both parties. They're going to have a primary. There's a Green Party candidate. I also know the Green Party. I have a lot of respect for them, but I'm running as independent. There's also a Libertarian candidate in the Libertarian Party, and I also had a conversation with them as well. And it's great and encouraging to see there's a lot of people who are interested in for the top spot, especially after the past 8 years in the state, where we want to advance it and also advance the country as well. So yeah, there's a lot of candidates running. I find it very encouraging. I know a few candidates, and they're great people, but we all have different approaches, which I'm willing to discuss with anyone, anywhere.
I was going to ask, because I think a couple of the candidates actually consider themselves progressive. And so how are you planning to stand out?
I want to stand out by appealing not just to the progressive base, but also to the electorate. I try to reach out to conservative-minded people who are, just weirded out by the whole, GOP taking a hard stance on authoritarianism and also on being deconstructionist. Basically deconstructing our society, deconstructing our healthcare. There's a lot of conservatives who are concerned about, the two-party system as well. And I also, I've been an independent for a long time, even though I've been progressive. And I know independents are all over the place, and we just have to talk about these political issues as human beings, knowing what's good for us as human beings and how we're going to survive on planet Earth. So when we speak on that level, all those barriers seem to break down. And so the way I tend to stick out and stand out is that I'm talking to everybody. I'm speaking to the whole electorate, not just one side of it.
One question that I like to ask people is why they've decided to run in the affiliation that they've chosen. So what about running as an independent was more appealing to you than running, say, in the Green Party or the Democratic Party?
I don't like constraints because I feel like when parties tend to constrain their policy views, and I feel like constraints would not allow me to speak with people from all over the spectrum. I know that Democrats and Republicans have attempted for years to reach out to the other side, and they've done it in a very cynical way, where basically they're dividing the population instead of bringing people together. And I'm talking about years and years of that sort of style of politics. And, third parties are exactly that. They're parties. And so they have their own way of thinking. And I agree with, things here and there with the parties, what they come up with. And I think there's great ideas all over the place. But it doesn't really give people a chance to think outside the box. And reason I chose to run as independent because I'm going to think outside the box, and I want to have normal conversations with everyday people on how we can innovate in the policy area and, bring together a renewable energy economy. Think of new ways of having clean water, so we're not being poisoned by lead or destroying our waterways with oil pipelines. Backing up companies that innovate in technology that allow us to go in a direction of green technology. Solving the issue of economy by holding the Congress to account for artificially restricting the markets, where Congress has the power over fiscal policy and not really beholden to the banks, which they like to pretend to be. And the American people just need information. I know people all over the place who are seeking some new direction. And any direction is good at this point, because Democrats or Republicans really haven't been giving us a choice, and they haven't been giving us all the information on the direction, the possibilities of America. America really, if you look in the history of America, we've done a lot of great things. We have the space program. We built the intercontinental highway back, in the Eisenhower administration. We've done a lot of great, huge projects. We've done a lot of great things. And I feel that Americans are ready to do something innovative, instead of, always having to deal with constraints that are not there, and then people have to suffer in the streets.
I think that's an incredibly perceptive point that I think a lot of people have been hitting on, but you just said it in a really sort of clear way. These imaginary restraints of like party lines and things that hold us back from doing what we want to do, what we all want to do for ourselves to make our lives better. But there is all this stuff that comes into play that doesn't even really exist, but people allow it to get in the way. And you also started to talk about it a little bit, but you actually have a really interesting resume. So can I ask you a little bit about that? If you could talk about like some of the things that you've done?
Of course. So, I've done so many things. I'm a musician, first of all. I've been a musician my whole life, all the way through school. And that's one of the things that I do. I attended American University, but before I went to American, I was studying engineering at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And I decided to switch over into the policy realm, so I transferred to American, which was the best choice I ever made, because I actually wanted to get involved, especially post September 11th. I felt like I, wanted to be in public service. And I studied policy, and I had a science background. I was one of the few students in my school of public service that had the extensive 2-year background of studying physics and mathematics and chemistry, which I love dearly. But I decided that I wanted to be involved in public service. So basically, when I was done with college, I interned at Capitol Hill with Senator Bill Nelson, which I'm forever grateful to Senator Nelson, because he basically gave me hands-on policy and negotiating in the Congress, which was an eye-opening thing. Also, at the same time, I've been consistently doing art and participating in art communities, and also been a political activist for a very long time. And Washington was the best place. Washington, D.C. was the best place to get involved in activism. And after I was done with that, I became one of the IT directors at Lockheed Martin for the Department of Defense, specifically the Department of the Navy. I met a lot of great people there, had great experience helping them out in the Pentagon and also in Foggy Bottom. And I really had a lot of hands-on experience, especially in the technology and policy realm, which is still a realm that needs a lot of work in our country, because of course we have to deal with cyber issues in today's 21st century world. But that was the beginning of it, and again, I've been involved in activism since 2002, and I was basically helping out different organizations. What we did is that, a bunch of us from school, we as individuals actually, brought different groups together to organize for different demonstrations and things, and that was a great hands-on experience as well. But yeah, my experience goes very deep. I also was involved in demonstrations in New York City in 2010, pre-Occupy, and there was a lot of organization there the year before that happened before Occupy, and I was glad to sort of be in the beginning of that. But yeah, this is I have so many things that I've done in policy. I write a lot of things. I write a lot of political philosophy, which I'm going to try to release to the public so people can get a grasp on my view on how things should go. But the reason why I started running, because I've toyed with running for office before. I even tried once with the Democrats, but it didn't work out. And the reason why I wanted to run now, because I feel like I can get the voice out there and reach out to the people and figure out what else I can do to sort of, find my role in the whole political revolution that Bernie Sanders has started. And I'm very glad to be here and contribute to it.